Hello, lovely ADHD Unlocked community. It is Friday, the 4th of September, and I think I got that right, finally. August every day was wrong, but hopefully September on track. And I hope you're all well and safe and happy. And this week, Steph and I and the ADHD Unlocked members, we have been embracing our failure, haven't we, Steph? Something that I've never really wanted to do before, and one of these big scary things that lurks behind me in my life, following me around for decades, is that feeling of failure, as many adults with ADHD have, when we've been more often than not left undiagnosed, sometimes for decades and decades. And we feel we've never lived up to our potential, and we feel like a failures for the small things and the big things that we may have failed at in life. And that failure may be something as little as, oh, I've dropped a mug again and smashed it on the floor, or oh heavens, here's another relationship, or I'm divorced again, or whatever, or here's another job or business that hasn't quite worked out for me. So there's big failures and little failures, and all of them impact on our self-esteem and our sense of worth, and then that compounds our ADHD symptoms. So I think it's really important that we kind of reframe failure and just really look under the bonnet. And that's what we've been doing this week. And it has actually been quite transformative, to be honest. So Steph, what's going on? Why are we so scared? Why is this failure monster lurking beside us all?
Yeah, well, I guess you kind of very much refer to the fact that we often are failing so much. So you do develop a fear because you come to not trust yourself and it's going to happen again. And so this fear just magnifies. And then obviously the traits of rejection, sensitive dysphoria. So we tend to be a lot more rejection sensitive than our neurotypical peers, as well as just all the criticism that a lot of ADHDers have received from a very early age, where it starts in school, right? So, why you're not listening and not doing very well in school because it's hard to pay attention, you're not interested, and you are literally sometimes failing all the tests. So it starts from a very early age, and it's kind of reinforced, and unfortunately also sometimes by parents, and also just kind of the stories that the parents are also telling themselves, who often happen to have ADHD themselves, right? And we talked about that, Mish, didn't we, during the week, and they impact that, hearing the language of your parents, how that can also form your language. And then all of a sudden that language just really embeds.
Yeah, and passing that on to your own kids. I think it's really important that we do embrace and reframe failure so that we don't pass this on. And one of the things that I think I mentioned yesterday in the webinar was, we're often taught when we're talking about our kids to not praise them for the actual outcome of their success, not say, well done, you won this prize, or well done, you won that race, but actually praise them for the effort and the process that's gone into that. And that's something that we're taught to do with our kids in terms of building up their self-esteem, so they don't get this hang up about failure, and they're not attached to the outcome of the process of that particular, I'm trying hard to win this or that particular homework. But we never do that for ourselves. And that's one thing that we really, really need to start doing, is not becoming so attached to the outcome of a task or a job or a goal. Yes, having the goal and being driven towards it, but if we're too attached to it, we're going to feel much more of the hurt and the self-esteem knock, I think, if we don't kind of enjoy the process and praise ourselves for the effort that's gone along. And look how I tried, and seeing that failure, or reframing that failure as just part of success. It's just part of life, and these are inevitable, rather than, oh, you've failed again, because of these things that have been embedded in our heads as from teachers and parents, etc. Failure is part of success, it's part of life. And just to try and brush it off and not be so attached so that it wounds our kind of core self so much. I don't know, does that make sense, Steph, in terms of attachment to goals? Because I think we're taught to kind of really go for our goals, and if you're not really into it, but there's a danger with that, I think, attached to the perception of failure, potentially.
Yeah, no, but it's really important for us to very much be more kind of focused on the journey and enjoying the journey as opposed to just solely looking at the destination. I mean, let's face it, us ADHDers, when we do reach the destination, I mean, how remarkable is it? Like, do you guys go out and celebrate, and is it the making of your life and everything's changed? Michelle, what happens when you reach that goal?
It just becomes there's an emptiness, if I'm honest, because you're like, oh, I've reached it now what? And I suppose the flip side of that is if you don't reach that goal, it's a similar. So it's about enjoying and praising yourself for the process of doing it, and actually the journey, which we're taught to do about life in general anyway. Don't try and reach that goal of happiness, or everything will be okay when this happens, or I move house, or I get that new job, or I'm fit and healthy, or I lose 3 stone, or whatever. You have to kind of be in the here and now. And then that means that you're less attached and less hurt and less wounded by that perceived failure. And what is that failure anyway? How do you define that failure? Is it giving up? Is it not doing something to the way that you think is perfect, but everybody else thinks is acceptable? So actually, when you pick it apart, failure is this thing lurking that we know we don't define. So what is it?
So typical, yeah. Don't
Yeah,
define
just
what? Lack of specificity?
lack of
Never.
specificity, which is specificity. Try saying that first thing in the morning before your cup of tea, over and over. But we don't specify what failure is. And when we actually go, right, well, what is failure? How have you failed? Oh, I failed again on this. Can you write it down, Michelle, please? And you go, oh, actually, when you pull it apart, of course I haven't failed, or this was just part of the journey. And sometimes when you look back over your life and you think, well, thank goodness that marriage failed, or that job
Huh?
didn't work out, because I wouldn't be where I am now, or whatever.
That's it.
So you have to kind of look at it in context and remember that, and go, look, this is just part of your life's rich tapestry. And it'd be dead boring, wouldn't it, if we just went from A to B without any obstacles?
Yeah,
What boring.
exactly. No, well, that's it, right? We've got ADHD. The fuel is authentic interest, staying interested, stimulated. We know ADHD is love challenge, right? We do things at the last minute. We need the urgency. So all these things that we need to motivate ourselves, right? Guess what? They kind of come from failure, right? Don't they? Oh, I didn't leave enough time to do this thing. I've got to do it now. You do it. As well as the stakes, right? When the stakes are high, us ADHDers tend to kick into gear. And what usually, it's failure. It's like, oh, if I fail again, for instance, like maybe if I fall down the stairs a third time, I could really hurt myself. So I'm going to be really vigilant now. It takes that kind of, those kind of failures for us to really kick ourselves into gear. We become more vigilant. We're able to better, I guess, overcome some of our ADHD challenges because of failure. So we should be embracing failure, because that's the way we learn and grow and get better. We learn what we want, how we should live.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but absolutely. And one of the core strengths that we talked about a few weeks ago of ADHD is resilience.
Yeah.
And we are resilient because we've had to be, because whatever this word means, failure, we've had that all our lives. We've had to overcome this. So come on, we're resilient. We're tough as old boots, because we've had to constantly pick ourselves up, because we find life so much more difficult than neurotypical people to kind of just get through the day and get things done, etc. So that deserves a pat on the back in itself, and that strength is there because we keep picking ourselves up. And Richard Branson, another one of us, arguably, he embraces failure. Thomas Edison, with the light bulb, I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work. So if we frame failure as part of the journey, it's not linear. What is it? What are you afraid of as well? Not only what is failure, but what actually are you afraid? What's the worst that can happen? And then it takes the sting out of it and become less attached to the feeling of, I've I'm not a great person, or your self-esteem is somehow less, or you're less worthy of an individual if you have failed, whatever that means.
Yeah,
So we have
well,
to try and
yeah. Tony
reframe.
Robbins, Tony Robbins, he defines failure as, well, he says it's only failure if you give up. So tying back to what you're saying about resilience, and us ADHDs are resilient. So we're never really going to properly fail because we won't give up. A lot of us are very persistent, particularly around the things that we want. We definitely, some of us don't give up, right? It's hard to kind of stop us, in the process when we kind of really want something. And so that's the opposite of failure. So start seeing it that way. And also, it is inevitable, as Michelle said, that as ADHDers, we are going to make mistakes. We're not going to get it right a lot of times we're not going to get it right, particularly the first time. So it's about just accepting that, which we've talked a lot about. One of the emphasis we emphasize in this community is the fact that, we're not perfect, and it's fine, right? So long as, you develop that self-compassion for yourself and kindness for yourself, and you just got to keep going.
Yeah, and the way that I've kind of accepted that is, rather than focusing on those challenges and weaknesses because of my ADHD, you just think, well, that's just part of it, and I wouldn't have the strengths. So you just kind of flip it round and go, look, if you didn't have this bit, you wouldn't have this, particular strength that goes alongside your ADHD. So just accept it, and you wouldn't switch it off. So yes, you've done X, Y, Z, or that didn't work out, but let's just enjoy what you're learning from it, and praise yourself for being so resilient and picking yourself up again, because what alternative is there?
Yeah, no, exactly. And life's too short to suffer, which you've heard me say a lot, Mish. It is. It's an experience. It's a journey. And us ADHDers, by God, we take, we kind of wring the life out of life. We really get the most out of it. We try on new things. So, and in order to keep trying on new things, in order to keep growing and learning about yourself and what you want and what you don't want, right? Because from failure, we get clear about what it is we don't want. So we really should be embracing it. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to fail, because that, what's the worst thing is that kind of being stagnant for an ADHD, right? No movement.
Yeah. And so if we didn't fail, if we look at an alternative life where we just went on this linear track, we'd probably be quite horrified and bored. That's just occurred to me.
Yeah.
So embrace the fact that the film or the book of your life has many twists and turns and chapters and unexpected things, because we'd be bored otherwise.
Yeah, we need a bit of drama sometimes, a bit of a challenge, and get, high stakes. And guess what? Failure provides all those great things for us. So let's start looking at it that way.
Yes, so let's reframe. But Steph and I, we're very, very excited because we've got something to announce for ADHD Unlocked members. So we have launched a members portal this week with a dashboard, so you can find all of our past videos, resources, presentations, PDF downloads, all the stuff that we've talked about for many weeks, and going back into the lockdown videos. So there's heaps of resources all in one place for all of the members. So it's absolutely brilliant. We've also changed the offering so that we are going to be doing Smash It sessions every single week from now on. So we're just packing more in a more digestible. See, that's not a failure. That was just an opportunity to hone my pronunciation skills in a more digestible format that you can pick up and you can search for various topics. So in order to celebrate that, we are doing another offer for new members. So for the first year, it's 50% off for the whole year again. So it's an absolutely fantastic price for the amount of content you get. It's literally about a 50th of the price of some of the American offerings that are fairly similar for what we're offering. It's just a fraction, because we want to offer it to as many people as possible. So it's just £139.50 for the whole year. So yeah, if you spread that out over the month, that's brilliant. And then we're also offering 20% discount off the monthly fee. So it's only £23.20. So price of a takeaway every month. And you get all this contact, all of this information, and keeping you on track, the Smash It sessions, the weekly meetings on a Wednesday night, the nudges, the webinars, all of the stuff that you get and the resources that you get directly into your inbox and have access to. So we're very excited to announce the new dashboard and portal for members, and excited to announce that we have got the offer for new members. So now's the time to join us. Now we've got the dashboard. Very exciting. We're excited, aren't we, Steph?
Yeah, no, really excited. When we've always believed in, and this is the whole embrace failure along these same lines, start now, get perfect later, which I think Rob Moore, I always have to make sure I attribute these quotes to the right people. Start now, get perfect later. And, you know, it's something that a lot of us ADHDers do, others not. They kind of don't do anything, which again, no, got to come out, guys. Stop hiding, right? Yeah, you got to share your unique gifts with the world. So, and you'll do that by starting to embrace failure, yeah, and showing up. And yeah, so now I've just lost track, but the Smash It sessions, yeah, so we've been getting feedback from our members, because obviously we had to grow, we had to learn what our members wanted, we had to learn, you know, whether our offering was the right kind of amount of things. And we've spent the last couple of weeks getting the feedback from our members, and so what we've come up with is informed by their feedback. And it looks like, yeah, the Smash It sessions, for those who actually go to them or have been to them, and myself obviously included, they are so effective, ridiculously effective. I mean, a lot of the time in my coaching sessions, I do kind of implementation style work, like a mini Smash It. And you know, you get the stuff done. You know, it's not just talking about it. Right? We have no problems, right, talking about things. You know, it's not that we don't know what to do, it's we don't do what we know. So let's do the doing, let's smash the doing. So that's why we've decided to do the weekly Smash Its, and then you'll have all the education and the interaction on the Wednesday night catch up. So I think, and I hope, this is going to be new and improved. And again, we're still open to feedback because it's your community. So that's how we work. Yeah.
Exactly. And don't feel that you have to watch every session or attend every session. It's there to drop in when you need it. And now that we've got the dashboard, you can just catch up in your own time if you want to, and pick a subject. I mean, there might be a subject you don't necessarily want to catch up on, you know, from the past, that might not be relevant to you at this point, but you can catch up with it at any point, you know, over the next few months. And we're very excited to announce that next week's subject is one that, yes, I need to address as well, and lots of us need to address, and that is sleep and ADHD, getting a better sleep, being more refreshed, all the rest of it, good sleep habits, sleep hygiene, etc. So very excited to cover sleep next week. So join us in time over the weekend using the discount codes to engage with the sleep topic next week. So very, very exciting, and we look forward to welcoming you all. So anything else to add, Steph, that I've forgotten?
No, I think we've covered everything. We're 3 minutes. I'm embracing my time management failure right now, guys. Hopefully that extra 3 minutes, is it 3 minutes? Yeah, has been worth it, valuable. You've learned something. Better to not have kept that time. So see, failure can be good. You can learn something. You guys can
only 3 or 4 minutes over, which is good. So for those of you watching later, so feel free to kind of rewind and forward wind. The next Smash It session will be Tuesday, and they'll alternate between lunchtimes and evening, so we'll post a timetable as well, so you know exactly what you're getting. But do join us, now's the time. And yeah, very exciting, and have a wonderful restful, peaceful weekend. And don't forget to embrace failure, whatever that means, because it's just part of life's rich tapestry. And we will see you hopefully on Monday for members, and we'll see you soon. So thanks again for joining us. Take care, everybody.
See you later.
Bye-bye.